How's my beard looking? It's looking like a freaking fish. Alright, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? It is an absolutely beautiful day here in the Ozarks. Thank you for coming and checking out this video. This is Bluefoot Homestead. I started thinking about some things and I needed to change it. There's a couple things that I need to change. One you guys will probably be really happy about because I got plenty of comments on a little bit of criticism on one of my videos, so I'm going to touch on that. But anyway, so I drive a truck. I go pretty far away from home and it might be kind of a pain in the butt to get back. Now, I did the video about a get home bag. Most people's get home bags are not suitable for my situation, at least I feel that way. But not only having a get home bag, but having a plan to get home. Now, when you're that far away, you have to think things a little bit different. Now, recently, the reason it kind of got me thinking about a different idea here is I'm driving to a different place now. I'm driving up to Kansas City. So I used to drive into Illinois, about the middle of the state of Illinois. I'm not doing that anymore. That was a pretty stressful situation where if I was going to be caught out there, what am I going to do? You know, definitely that's going to be a very long walk and I'm going to have to figure out drastic measures to be able to get home, you know, before I would perish. But now I'm going to Kansas City, and there's a big difference between Kansas City because, as we know right now, there's a lot of talk about Russia. There's a lot of talk about nuclear war, you know, to say it any other way. There's a lot of threats going on. There has been saber rattling for years now of the use of nuclear weapons. It's been talked about from the US, it's been talked about from Russia. I think it's even been talked about from China. There's just a lot of talk about it. Now, since I switched my routes and I'm going to be driving from the south up to Kansas City, well, that's one of the most dangerous places to be, maybe outside of the Dakotas, but one of the most dangerous places to be when it comes to a nuclear war. And that is specifically because just south of Kansas City is what they consider a nuclear sponge. They have a lot of their bombers, the bases that they have out there is very much related to being a little bit of a decapitation strike from Russia or whoever decided to nuke us. That's going to be very heavily targeted in that area, okay? Well, walking through a nuclear apocalypse is probably not the best idea, so I'm going to have to figure out something. Now, if nuclear bombs were to drop at any time of me being up in that area, which is really anywhere between, say, 10 o'clock to 10:30 at night till about 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm absorbed up in that area, doing my job, doing my work, paying my bills. So what if something happens in that time? Now that's overnight. I think there's a very good chance if there's going to be a strike on the US or a strike that happens anywhere for the most part, it's overnight, catch people off guard, early in the morning, things like that. It's not going to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon when people are awake and conscious and they can think. So I have a strong feeling that if something is going to happen, there's a good chance it's going to happen in the time frame that I'm in that area. So got to think about what am I going to do. So I was talking with my girlfriend and we decided to get a get home plan together, and it's fairly simple, not too elaborate, but had to get something together because if nuclear bombs hit that area within, you know, 10 miles or 15 miles of where I am, there's a good chance I'm going to get blasted with an EMP. My vehicle is going to be out of order if I don't get blasted all the way across the freeway and thrown out in a cornfield somewhere. But there's a very good chance that I'm going to be affected to where SHTF is going to be right in front of my face. So, yeah, here's what we got going on. Now, this isn't the best tool to use, but I got to put it in front of my face. This is a Road Atlas. This covers the whole continental US. I don't even, it might even cover Hawaii and things like that. But yeah, this has every single state, every single major city, and all that. So what I decided to do, I should be able to flip right to this. Yes. Take one thing out. Unfortunately, the state of Missouri is cut up. It is from here over. And then there's another page that has the rest of the state. So that is one thing that sucks about using this specific atlas. I might redo this, pretty simple, but might redo it with just a state map or something like that, so it's a little bit more clear. Don't have to worry about flipping pages. And one reason I wanted to do this as well is the stress level. So I kind of gave the example when I was explaining maybe why we should do this. If, you know, she's sleeping, power goes out, you know, an EMP, there's not going to be a big boom if Kansas City gets nuked, for instance. And we do get the effects of an EMP here. Her alarm clock doesn't go off. She wakes up late for work, yada, yada. It's going to be a silent awakening. It's going to take a minute to figure out what happened. You know, you got to look at your cell phone, check electronics. She's going to have to make the determination of whether it's a power outage, whether maybe a temporary power outage. Was there weather? Was there a reason to have the power outage? We have a radio, a shortwave radio, an AM radio. Look into that, check that, see if you can find out some information of maybe what's going on. And if it is determined that there was a nuclear detonation and an EMP in this area, specifically the Kansas City area, or any area that would affect us for that matter, we got to kick this plan into place. So I wanted to try to make it as easy as possible to try to figure out what to do, when to do it, and how to execute, basically. So what I did is I got my map. I will show you this. I have a different lens on here, and it's probably not going to see very well. Let's try this. Might not be able to hear me as good, but this is just the latter part of my route. So this is Kansas City right here. Down in this area is basically what's considered the nuclear sponge. So on the highways, back roads, and freeways that I take, I have it all highlighted. So that's pretty easy. Whenever I hit a certain point, like here is the town of Clinton, I've already mapped it out, drove by it, checked it a couple times. I get there at 11:15. Now, when you're driving on a road, the right side of the road is that way of travel. This side of the road is going to be this way of travel. So I put my incoming times and my outgoing times, and I have this on the rest of my route as well. So she wakes up at, say, 9 o'clock, power's out, okay, 9:30, she figured that, okay, there was a possible nuclear bomb that went off. There's an EMP, it killed all the power. That's going to be the exact same time in the area that's going to be affected by the nuclear bomb. So at 9 o'clock, where am I at? She'll be able to see on the map. Okay, now she found out that the bomb went off, say at 5:45 in the morning. She'll be able to get a rough estimate within a few miles of where I was at 5:45. And if I'm in a danger area or anything like that. And if she lost power where she is here at home, you can guarantee I lost power if I didn't get vaporized, you know, being too close. Because actually at about 5:45 would be one of the closest times that I am to where the nuclear sponge is. So that aside, hopefully I live and make it through it. Pages are flipping in the breeze. Let me close the door. Okay, that should be better and maybe even a little more quiet. Had the wind chimes and chickens and all that stuff. So anyway, she'll be able to get on, hopefully get some information on the radio. If we do end up going with ham radio, which will be part of my next video. Not sure if I want to go with ham radio or not yet, but been kind of learning the license and the questions and getting ready for executing that avenue in life. But regardless, if she says, okay, 5:45 is when a nuke went off, you know, we got different ways to find that out. Where was I at 5:45? So she'll be able to pinpoint it on the map. Now, she's gonna know where I was at. There's two different plans. There's a nuclear bomb detonation and an EMP plan. Now, if there's an EMP plan, I'm staying in place. She's gonna know that, which I wanna add to the notes here, just to take the questions out of the scenario. If it's a nuclear bomb, I'm booking it. I'm getting out of there as quick as possible. I might have a chance to live for a couple weeks, you know, depending on where I am. I mean, it doesn't even really depend on where I am, because I don't know which way specifically that night that the 200 millibar winds are blowing at the time and where the fallout's gonna be. So I'm bugging out. I'm hitting the road fast. So also at that, when you walk, you're walking at about 2 miles an hour. You know, so if it went off at 5:45, it's now 8 o'clock. That's 2.5 hours. I'm about 2 miles south. Now, that's not really gonna make that much of a difference. It will for me, because maybe I'm gonna be a little further out of that fallout area or something along those lines, but 2 miles when she's coming for a rescue mission isn't gonna make that much of a difference. But it's also good to know. Because, I mean, if it's a 4-hour spread, a 10-hour spread for some reason, maybe it's on my way up there, and she just went to sleep for the night, you know, 10 hours will make a little bit more of a difference when it comes to walking. But also, in the map, I put together a list here. And I just have it as a rescue list, things to grab. So, things I want her to grab to come and get me. If I'm gonna be down, she's gonna have a working vehicle, hopefully. Rescue mission set in play. So I have it here to grab both of the AR rifles that we have, and at least 2 boxes of ammo. Now my AR, I have in my case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 loaded magazines in my case. So that's gonna hold me pretty well, but definitely can't have enough ammo. Also to grab one of her pistols. I'm gonna have a pistol on me, grab some ammo for that. I put down to grab a 9mm. I think that's about the only one that she's gonna carry. So if she grabs some extra ammo, that's gonna suit both of our needs. Grab some water. Grab a case. We got cases of bottled water. Grab one of those, throw it in the back of the truck. A couple cans of food with spoons, just in case, you know, we're coming home, something happens, we get stuck. Road closures, congestion on the freeway. It's not really a freeway, it's a 2 to 4 lane highway. Probably won't be an option. We have 4-wheel drive capability, so we'll be able to get up and around and make things work most likely. But just in case, grab some food and a couple spoons. Also another thing, I said that ham radio, we're not gonna be, or I'm not definitely set on ham radio as a means of communication after SHTF or any sort of power outage or anything like that. It's got its good points and its bad points. But we also already have one satellite phone. So I'm thinking about maybe picking up a second satellite phone, and that way we'll be able to have communication as long as the satellites are up. Now, I mean, that debate is just whether it's gonna be whether a amateur radio club has backup power supply for their, I'm trying to blank to the name of it, the bouncing station, or are the satellites going to go out? You know, which one's going to go out? Which one's going to have the capability of actually making communication possible? So I'm actually starting to veer a little more towards the satellite phone. But again, got a list. Just in case, now I was thinking about it before, I'm probably gonna get another one, and it's gonna be pretty much useless, but there are legends, if you know how to read a map, that tell you distance by inch. So it'd be good to have a little bit of a ruler of some sort just to be able to judge distance if she wants to try to get specific and really pinpoint where I might be, she'll be able to do that within a couple miles and all that. So there will also be a plan on where I will be walking, whether I will walk side of the road or middle of the road. Most likely it'll be side of the road if I am walking. I carry a flashlight with me. I may have some sort of light source on me or something like that just to notify, that I'm here. So I'm gonna close this up. But if we have working communication, ham radio, most likely is only gonna work within a mile or so. A sat phone, we'll be able to text each other at least, if not call and talk to each other, depending on the plan that we have. Enough to definitely make it happen. Now, walking on the side of the freeway, get a landmark, get a mile marker. If you're on an actual interstate, and you might be thinking about something like this, stop at a mile marker. The long skinny thing, they'll say 159.2. Stop there, get on the side of the road, get out of sight. If you know somebody's coming, that is a perfect means of being able to find somebody. I-10, mile marker 99.5. That is a very, very specific place. That's actually how a lot of truck drivers identify where they are, ETAs, all that kind of stuff, because it's actually a measurement of time as well at 60 miles an hour. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to kind of update you guys. This is one thing that I'm doing. I might switch this over to more of a localized map instead of the whole shebang. I mean, that puppy's thick. They're good to have regardless, because if you do ever end up having to go to another state, you got all your information, routes, time, and all that kind of stuff too. So wanted to run this by you. The get home plan. A lot of people talk about get home bags, but how are you going to execute using your get home bag to get home? Yeah, there's some survival guys out there that go through all of the details on it. But this is going to be a two-person operation. I kind of hate when I use like military type terminology with it, but yeah, a two-person operation to try to get me back home. She's going to be safe. I'm going to be putting her in danger. I'm going to be in danger. She's going to be getting me to a safe place. So yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. Operation Rescue Truck Driver. How about Okay, well, my card filled up. I still had 2 other videos on this card. I didn't realize that. So anyway, not sure where that cut off, but that's the plan. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I put out my last video on weapons, and it seems like YouTube kind of hit me on that one. So I didn't get any emails on it, but that's how it goes. So hit that like, subscribe. I would appreciate it. And until next time, be safe and peace.